I was saying something, right? And let's motivate each other, you know. Uh, so I was saying, right? I was talking about Hollywood and how you should stay strong in your position as long as you believe. I was saying this the other day. If you can conceive it and perceive it, you can achieve it. All you have to do is pursue it. You dig? As long as you pursue it, anything you can conceive and perceive, you will achieve. Gots. Now, whatever it is you put in your mind, don't, uh, downgrade. Um, in order to win, you have to lose. In order for me to fill your cup, you first have to come with it empty. I cannot have you come with a cup full of water and expect me to quench your thirst. You have to rid yourself of that. Reprogram yourself to forget all and everything that you have learned. Now, I know that's a challenge. Not everybody's up to the task, but that's what is required to be a winner. You have to forget what you learned. Like everything you thought you knew was the way and correct. You have to basically stop thinking about that and take in the new wealth of information. Surrender to it, submit. It's for your benefit. Um, you know, um, like I said, there's a majority portion that would agree no matter the tonality that comes out of my, vessel that can seem so condescending or something not trustworthy. I practice discretion. I like my privacy. And yeah, that part would not be in your everyday entertainment business. Um, but from here to there, if I like to read, and so if there's a black ink on white paper and something easily readable, I might understand different. Just so long as you make it where I can read it. So, and then I started talking about besides Hollywood, right? Cuz you shouldn't belittle yourself, whatever you want to chase or go after. Don't let nobody stop you. And so people get uncomfortable when first meeting me because I don't know, they expect something and then they get something completely different. But that's just the way of it. So it's more like nodding of approval and less yapping of your lips. And then it's more like showing me your skills and talent and why it is that I chose you. You know? Why are you the chosen one? Why you, right? And I have to see. But not with the physical eyes, though that is practical. But if I can see even before seeing, that would even be better. But I don't see that even before the seeing part. Alrighty then. Let's hear some music.
Provide the bowl, those who consume become fake. Whatever it takes to make you happy, baby.
It's absolutely captivating.
Hey, Meta, translate that.
Which one of you is real?
You know, so also with this AI, right? You don't know who's who. Because they can make a video and use a celebrity face on it. And then you think that's the real person when it's not, you know? So you gotta be careful, you know, because they come in all forms, you know, shapes and sizes. They could put a video of the person, but it's run by somebody who's not that person, you know? ¿Qué lo que? I want my flowers. I want my appreciation, my awards, my rewards, my exoneration, all that before you
Auntie Anita.
You get a thought of the RIP. Cause even that's gonna have its stories. Like you'll never get the end of me. You know, it's just another story told in the afterlife, you know what I mean, instead of the before. But before, like, I want all of that. I want my gratitude, you know.
Whatever it takes to make you feel good, baby. I'll be around.
Patiently, you know. In Spanish they say hadre. Chess, right? It's really about thinking like 3 or 6 steps ahead, you know. Most people can't see 2 or 3 steps ahead. But I've played some giants, man, you know, that could take me out in 3 moves type of shit. And that kind of taught me a lot, you know, to how to view things in life, you know. And you know, as I kept improving, somebody else joined now, huh? Yeah, she knows about that. She know about them gems. They're like, oh no, this is getting too good. So anyway, guy takes me out in 3 moves and shit. And it was embarrassing, man. Like, damn. And so, but, you know, after that, I you know, I've gotten better, you know. And that's how I look at, you know, that's how I look at life, man. You gotta know what you're doing. Think first before you move, you know. It's like a sword fight. You already know. The W. The W is ingrained not just in comics, right? And television. There goes another one. You know, push the button, man. Join. And feel free to comment. Don't just look from the outside. Hit the button. And say something positive. Positive. If not, I'll delete you, right? So, what was I? Like I was saying, right? Yeah, man, you gotta know what you're doing. Cause playing chess taught me a lot. And I've taught people, you know? Even the most ignorant of them all. And some just it just never registers. You know how to move the chess pieces and shit. But that'll give maybe someone some encouragement or inspiration or motivation, right? Oh, he thinks I can't beat him in chess, right? Watch this, you know? And then all of a sudden, damn, you become a master at chess. And you're showing me some moves. Well, just remember that it came from me. I be the daddy. I'm the pappy. It came from me. You learned how to play chess because of yours truly. If you do, in fact, learn how to play chess, it's still not to be written yet, right? Well, let's see. Alright, man, thanks for joining. So few of y'all. Maybe later. I got nothing to say. I don't like to make like a big break in between type of stuff, you know? Before I come up with another idea. I got a lot of things in motion though. Let me tell you that. Like new scripts, new another idea. I got a lot of things in motion though. Let me tell you that. Like new scripts, new thing. Yeah, I'm talking to new thing. Yeah, I'm talking to like this wasn't in the this wasn't even a part of it back in 5-10 years ago. Now I'm chatting, they trying to seduce me, persuade me from all types of levels, and they don't even care about my credit no more. They're like, we don't give a fuck about that credit score. But I'm just like, I turned out many deals, man. I'm not gonna come so easy, I got my terms and conditions that gotta be added into the clauses, before I give you my Hancock. Another one. Feel free to make a comment and in support of my causes. But yeah, man, now I'm in this new dialogue where it involves me talking to some, prestigious people in the world. So you think, right? They all want a piece of it, but they don't want to do the work. Like, you really got to do the work. And just because I make it look good don't mean that it wasn't hard, I just make it look good. We got a fan. Tacos. #1 fan. Thank you. Mose. Thanks for joining. How about some flowers? Alright. Let me do this and keep y'all with some hold on. They be wanting you to figure things out and shit. I don't be caring about that shit. All I focus is on, I'm one of those if you know the rapper DMX, right? Everybody just thought he was just like some raw talent and stuff like that. But in real life, he had a lot of experiences, right? That's a whole movie in itself. And I thought, damn, that sounds like me. Because I traveled quite a few places and had quite a bit of experiences, and the people only see a fraction of it, you know. And I say like my life is more like a series or something, you know, a documentary or just a long franchise, you know. Um, because you know I don't forget. You know, I got my memory sharp, and you know, the world is hyped on, or at least it used to be, right? It was hyped on keeping you in a slumber state where you don't remember your past, you forget your phenomenons or the powers you maybe performed at one point, and they make you focus more on your failures and your inadequacies. And so there was a time, right, in the past where people were letting that influence win, you know, where they would focus on their failures more than their wins. And they got stuck into the failure mentality basically, which drove you know, poverty and a lack of creativity. Thanks for joining. Oh yeah. Few though, like only with chicks that had real a lot of mileage on them, you know. Was I able to get to the base of it, where one can say, you know, your name. Interesting. That person joined with a bow tie, pink bow tie. So yeah, so you know, people get stuck, and so I've been trying to like get people to you know, use their brains, and you know, it doesn't get a lot of welcoming, you know, because it goes against their nature, you know. And for a long time, it was never really lucrative until I brought words that were hypnotic, um, poetic, and because I implemented martial arts into the vocabulary. See, somewhere along the line, right, while I was in my studies, you gotta be like, you gotta just be fortunate to have some alone time, you know. At the time, I thought it was misfortunes, you know, because I'm getting locked up, I'm being imprisoned, you know, I'm in a shoe. But you know, in retrospect, now looking at it from a much wiser place, those moments that they contained me or restrained me and brought a lot of insightful realizations, because I had those moments where there was nobody there, you know, to save me. Like, I didn't know when I would eat. I didn't know what day was it. You know, you couldn't really talk to the people outside in the world like I'm doing. I couldn't call my parents. You know, like, you're locked in there and you're stuck with your thoughts and you can't like vent for nothing. Not even to the COs. And so, I don't know. That taught me a lot, but it also makes me realize that not everybody's fortunate to have those moments of sacredness, you know, out of the dump that was exuded on you. So I started learning more and more, you know, how to deal with struggle. And I just became a master, you know. But the world is not so quick like that. Like I said, the world is still slow. They don't know how to face themselves or look at themselves in the mirror, and whatever realization they do come up with is short lived. They don't practice it in a more eternal place. They practice it from an external place. And so it doesn't go maybe past a month, you know? Wow, when the guy is throwing substance, right? You'd expect millions of people chewing it up. But because it's so true, only a few get to see it. The chosen few. So I had this guy, right, yesterday. I'm a different person, man. You know, like I said, I was fortunate to explore this emptiness in this space of privacy because I was stripped of my freedom. Or so they thought, you know, because the whole time, you know, they thought they were in there with me, but I was in there. How it goes? They were in there because of me. Yeah, they thought I was in there because of them or something. You know, something like that. But it was all my moves. It was all my making. You know, all the creation. Every step from its inception. You know, because it was what I said. And what I say goes, because what I'm saying is not frivolous, you know. I don't say things so that it could come back to me empty, you know. And so I was very careful when to speak, only when it mattered. And that's what I practice. And it also requires you to test your limits, where you can see how long you go in silence without saying a sound. You have to train yourself. It starts with little simple things like that. You start becoming a scientist. You know, when I was younger, they said if you had a ring, right, like in the pinky, that you was like powerful. But then I started like experimenting, right? And I wanted to see if I could grow that pinky nail like real long. But it required time. So I had to be patient to see if it grew. Eventually it grew. It grew very long. And I would sharpen it. I would make it like it was a cat or something. And every time I'm hanging with the fellas, they notice that long ass nail and shit. It influenced them. Then they started doing something like that too. But it started with like, you know, simple things like that. And then I wanted to see how long can I grow my hair, you know. And this is the third, by the way. Like in my lifetime, like I would see how long I could grow it, and then I cut it from the top and do it all over again. And I would see how long it would take, you know. And I'd be like, okay, now I know. And it's just like little experiments like that, you know. You have to be a scientist. Anyway, I hope I taught you youngins a lot. And go after greatness without having hate in your blood. Alright, till later. I'm out. That's not that.